Everyone wants to live an inspired life, yet so many people search for happiness following the footsteps of peers and taking advice from people who have different values and outcomes to which they're searching. There are people born into wealth, graduated from the best universities in the world, and there are people who have none of that and yet are living extraordinary lives full of fulfillment and reward. The purpose of this podcast is to share insights and strategies that allow you to question the status quo and think freely, so you can design your life and be who you want to be. We get one life. Time is our most valuable asset. I believe that when we're free and able to focus on meaningful work, we become better human beings. This is Always Free, and I'm your host, Jason Graystone.
Welcome to the leading podcast for financial empowerment and wealth creation. Subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. You can connect with Jason on social media and subscribe to the Jason Graystone YouTube channel for weekly videos. Don't forget to also subscribe to the weekly newsletter to receive frequent educational content and action steps to help you design your life so you can be who you want to be. For news on all future events and updates, go to jasongraystone.com.
Well, welcome back to the podcast, guys. I hope you had a nice week so far. If this is the first time you're listening to this podcast ever, you're in a great place because this is the number one podcast for financial empowerment and wealth creation with a proven set of strategies that are the complete, well-rounded picture that you need and strategies that you need to implement into your life if you want to become financially free to live an inspired life as efficiently as possible. And in order to get the most out of this podcast, I recommend that you go back to episode 1 and start listening there. You may have trouble finding it on iTunes because I think they're doing this kind of rolling where it kind of expires, so you might not find the first few episodes there, but you can go and listen to them on Spotify, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, all the other podcast platforms. It seems to be still available, so definitely go and do that. This week is a little bit different. I want to just answer a question I got during the week about trading. So those of you who are into speculation and trading, one of the questions I got this week was about learning to trade and really trying to fit it in, how much time you need, and really how to fit it into their life. Because as I've said before, trading is a skill. It requires a lot of energy and effort and attention to actually master the skill. And it's not something you can just quickly pick up. It's not like passive investing or stock investing even. It's like going to learn to play for the NBA. You don't just do it overnight. You don't become a world-class golfer overnight, a world-class guitarist overnight. It takes a long time to pick up the skill, then go and practice, then go and kind of build discretion and find your own way in the market. And that is what trading is. It takes a little while. So the question was, how can I learn to trade when I've got another job? I really want to learn. I'm trying to read as much as I can, but I'm struggling to juggle my work life and home life and education, etc. So, as I say, it's a common question, and it's usually not down to time. Okay, like anything, not just trading, but when we want to learn anything, it's not down to time most of the time. What it's normally down to is priorities, because we get a lot of time in the week. And I think a lot of people realise, especially through lockdown, how much time they were spending scrolling on their phones and all that kind of stuff. And what were they doing before, right? So that time has come from somewhere. So it's just a shift of priorities. And as I've said many, many times before you even think about doing something, ask yourself, is it truly meaningful to you? Do you actually really, really want to do it? Because are you just looking up to someone else that's got the results and you're beating yourself up because you feel like you should be doing that as well, when actually it's just not that important to you? Because that is what causes procrastination, and then procrastination causes you to prioritize your time differently. You won't value doing it, so you need to be able to prioritize it. And look, when I was learning to trade, it was extremely time consuming, and I spent many, many late nights and weekends working on my trading business. But instead of letting it being like daunting, I just broke it down over a 12-month period. And if that's scheduled correctly, it doesn't need to be overwhelming, right? But the thing is this, you have to prioritize it in your time and be consistent in when you prioritize your trading education, because everything in trading, successful trading, is based off of consistency. So you want to start being consistent. Now, when it comes to time and fitting it in, look, we typically sleep for like 7-8 hours every night, right? Then you might work for 8 to 10 hours in the day. Let's just say you've got a business. If you're learning to trade, you've either, usually the majority or the average trading client that we've got at Tier 1 is 35 and a half years old. All right. Now, 35 and a half years old, they're usually in a higher up position in their job where they've got a bit more kind of power, and maybe they choose how they spend their time in their job to a degree, or they've got their business, right? And they're getting a little bit frustrated of running the business and they want to diversify their income and they get into speculation. But let's just say 8 to 10 hours you're at work, 7 to 8 hours you're asleep every night, right? So if you commit to going to bed at 10 p.m. and then getting up at 5:30 a.m., right? That's 7.5 hours sleep per night. Let's just cut it in the middle. Let's also say that you commute to work, right? You start commuting at 7:30, and then by the time you've commuted back, you get home at, 5:30, something like that. That's 10 hours at work, right? So in total, you've spent 17.5 hours of your day committed to sleep and work. Now, there might be times that you can listen to audio education during the commutes, but I'm going to be ultra conservative here, right? The fact is that you have about 6.5 hours left to prioritize your life every day, if you're not in the position you want to be in right now. And then there's eating, cleaning, toilet, washing, family time, TV, computer, social media, phone, gym, hobbies, right? Whatever it is, and your trading business or your new business or your side hustle. So the question is, how do you prioritize that list? And how much time do you allocate to each one? So I always say, look, instead of completely turning your life upside down, just start putting a priority score on each of these things and allocating an estimated time against them. So what you can do is use that as a method to start building habits, as a guide. Set alarms on your phone. Get a big calendar, stick it up on your wall in your office or your bedroom or on your kitchen wall or something, or put reminders on your PC, and that will help you to stick to certain times and be more efficient. And you'll be shocked at how much you actually get done. And it's okay to prioritize those things as well, right? There's going to be a priority, and it's going to be a different priority for everyone. So for instance, the gym might be something that is a priority to you that you have to do to keep fit, but it's not something you want to do. Another person might want to go to the gym and it's something they love doing, and TV might be something that they don't really want to do. Okay, and there could be stuff like cleaning that you have to do but you don't really want to do. Toilet, right? Nobody really wants to go to the toilet. It's something you have to do. Eating, you have to eat. Some people love eating and some people choose to eat. But you get what I'm saying. There's going to be certain priorities. There's going to be different priorities for everyone. Some people might not value spending time with family. Some people might spend time with family and value that. And it's okay to be either or, right? It just depends on the person. But the thing is, once you prioritize this personally, it becomes bespoke to you and then easier to implement into your life, right? Now, let's just say that you commit to learning to trade in 12 months, because that's what I recommend everyone. Give yourself 12 months, because that takes the time pressure off. What I would recommend, so everyone asks me, what's the outline? What order do I need to go in? How long is it going to take me? As a rough guideline, okay, I'm going to lay out what I think over that 12-month period, what you should focus on roughly, okay, on average, and how long each of those stages is going to take you. So if you grab a pen and paper and take notes on this, I'm very qualified to give you this information based on working with thousands of traders, and it's broken down into about 9 or 10 different items, okay? So the first one is learning the fundamentals, learning the basics. And I would say that if you spent 2 hours per day, okay, that is really going to take you around 30 days. Okay, so 2 hours of your trading education per day. It will take you about 30 days. Now, you could spend 1 hour a day. You could spend half hour a day. And just know, if you spend half hour a day, it might take you 60, 90 days. Okay, this is on average. But just as a ballpark, so you know, that's the first thing you want to learn, and that's roughly how long it's going to take you. The next thing would be learning a strategy. Okay, so picking a strategy, learning one strategy inside out, one that resonates with you. If you do that for an hour a day, that's going to take you about 20 to 30 days to really, really master. Okay, and know the ins and outs of the strategy. That's just learning the strategy. The next thing would be to build a trading plan. Okay, now to build a trading plan, that's basically how you're going to trade it. That includes all of your setups, your routines, your markets that you trade, getting that all written out. If you spend about an hour a day on that and getting that together, within 20 to 30 days, again, you should have that trading plan outlined. Okay, you're going to add more to that trading plan later on, such as risk management, money management, and things like that. But that is going to take you about 20, 30 days. And then there's testing your system. So if you test your trading system, depending on how many markets you trade and how many pairs and all the rest of it, on average, we normally get people trading one market and trading like 10 strategies on it, or we get people trading 10, 20 markets with one strategy on it. So it depends on what you're going to be trading, but just the testing aspect, this is going to be the longest aspect or longest item. And I would say if you're spending 2 hours a day, you could probably wrap up your trading, testing trading in 30 to 60 days. Now, I know that's broad, 1 to 2 months, but that is on average how long it's going to take you based on what I've just been over. And then there's fine tuning. Okay, so that's not going to take very long. That's basically where you look at your test results and then optimize the results based on giving stop losses bigger, more breathing room, taking profits at a bit more of an optimal place, adding filters that give you higher probabilities, etc., etc. We go all through that in the mastery module in tier 1 and in the blueprint module. But that is going to take you about 30 days at 1 hour a day. All right. And then we go into learning money management. So this is something you really need to get your head around. And again, I say if you spend 1 hour a day learning money management, it's going to take you between 15 and 30 days, 1 hour a day, right? To really grasp that, add it to your trade plan and implement it into your system. The next thing would be demo trading or paper trading. And the point of demo trading for me it does give you belief transference. It does give you a solid belief of your system. But the main benefit of demo trading or paper trading, once you've got that system, and by the way, anyone who's demo trading and paper trading without doing any of the first steps that I just did, it's pointless. Literally a waste of time. You cannot learn to trade like that on the fly doing demo accounts. So if opening a demo account is the first step to your trading, you're doing it really, really wrong. It's literally pointless. What you're doing is downloading a betting app and you're gambling, and that's it. And you're trying to get good at gambling. So the next thing is that, but the priority or the main benefit to demo trading for me is to pick up the things that you can't test. So placing the wrong order, human error, leaving an order on overnight, right? Not the wrong type of order, slippage, spreads, all that kind of stuff that cannot be tested. You are seeing in real time and you're using a demo account so you don't blow your real money to iron those things out and build that discretion and see those nuances without blowing your real money. That's about an hour a day for 30 to 60 days. I recommend doing that. Get at least a few trades under your belt so that you're comfortable. Then there's live trading. Okay, so you're going to go into live trading. And again, that is a part of the process. I recommend 1 hour a day for 60 days, solid, so that you get the reps under your belt, consistent time frame, consistent time of the day, consistent place in your place of work or your office. Just be there in the zone, 60 days, 1 hour a day at least, trading, getting your reps in, getting the market reps under your belt. And then there's the reviewing of your system. Okay, so once you've reviewed the system, then you're good to go. So over a 12-month period, those are the kind of bullet points in order in which I recommend you learn. That's a rough time frame for each of those to spend on each of those. And then it's up to you to prioritize your calendar. Look through all of the time that you want to book in, and then get it booked in. And it's non-negotiable. Don't move it. Just commit to it, and you'll start to see results. Now, obviously, the more time that you can dedicate to learning, the more you're going to be taking it seriously, the more you're going to progress, which means the more motivated and encouraged you're going to become, which means the more momentum you're going to build. And it's just kind of a perpetual cycle of belief, which moves you forward quicker. So with all the above being said, okay, you now have a kind of template or outline for how long I'd suggest that you set aside for each area. Go back and listen if you missed it. I wanted to get that out to you. And now you can filter that into your priority list without overwhelm. And when you break things down into small, tiny, bite-sized chunks, you realize actually you do have more time than you thought. If you've got 6.5 hours of your life to spare, is half hour, 1 hour a day really going to affect it? Probably not. It just comes down to your priorities, at which point I would say if you do not prioritize it, there's two things you can do. Don't do it, or you can start to ask yourself the question, how is learning to trade and learning to accelerate my returns and mastering the art of speculation going to benefit my highest values? How is it really going to benefit my life? And write down as many answers as you possibly can until you literally shift your values on learning to trade, and you will find this internal motivation, this new intrinsic motivation that's been activated through doing that, because you can now clearly see how doing this is going to help you in the long term. So I hope that was useful, guys. I want to mention that my show, if you like this podcast, my show, the Always Free Show, is launching tonight at 8 p.m. UK time. If you're listening to this today, please make sure you tune in at 8 p.m. any of my social media channels. The easiest way to go and see that is to get notified by subscribing to my YouTube channel and hitting the notification bell, and you will get notified about 60 seconds before we go live, and you'll be able to watch the show joining in. It's going to be interactive. It's an amalgamation of the newsletter and the podcast, this podcast, as a live show. It's going to be really, really valuable. I can't wait for it, and I love to see you there. So until then, take care, have a great rest of your day and weekend, and I'll see you then.
Subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. For news on all future events and updates, go to jasongraystone.com.